So you think it's safe tonight to turn off the lights and watch a horror movie on Halloween, huh? What happened to you?
Well, it was we were watching a movie just not too long ago. It was a scary movie, and we were, of course, the wife, she freaks out. She's hiding underneath the blanket there, and I'm on my phone messing around, and these lights or these candles, they're on a timer there, sitting next to the TV, and there's a scene in the movie where these candles flicker, they come on, and about a few seconds later, ours kick on, and she freaks out. And I'm on my phone. I looked up. I said, "What are you screaming about?" And she said, "Did you see the candles come on?" And they were on. And I'm like, "Okay, well, no big deal. No big deal." She's over there screaming. She's calling her mom because we're over at her house, cat sitting for them. And
Yeah.
they're over there laughing. And they're like, "Well, those candles haven't worked in a while." So we go to bed. The next day, I get up. It's a Saturday morning. I go over in there, look at the candles. I turn them over. They're on batteries. There's no batteries in them.
Oh!
Oh my gosh, no.
How,
Yeah.
Wow. Did she call her mom then?
I haven't told anybody else.
Oh, so she doesn't know this right now.
Yeah,
Oh.
That's the thing. I'm like, I'm not saying anything. So, yeah.
Okay, well, good. I'm glad you disguised your voice, too.
Yeah.
They'll never know.
My best friend's house was haunted. We had a big slumber party one night, and there was a fan blowing, there was a fan, and then all of a sudden it started blowing like on high, and everybody was like, "Hey, turn it off, it's cold." Well, one of the girls jumped up to turn the fan off, and she's like, it wasn't even plugged in.
Whoa, wait a minute. There was no fan. Where was the air coming from?
Well, no. The fan was on the floor, but it was blowing like on high, but it was not plugged in. When one of the girls jumped up to go turn it off, it wasn't even plugged in, and it was blowing like it was on high. As time went on, we would come home from school, and there would be, it sounds funny, but there would be peanut butter and jelly and bread laying out on the table. Well, Cheryl's mom kept yelling at us, thinking that we were the ones doing it. And we're like, no. Well, then we started noticing little handprints going up the stairs, like with the jelly and the peanut butter on it.
Oh, my gosh.
And, yeah. And then at night, every once in a while, they would like tug on your legs.
Oh, my gosh.
They were there about 5 years, and before they moved, they actually did a search on the house and found that there were, I think it was 2 children that were killed in a fire upstairs of that house.
Heck no.
Yeah, I wouldn't have lasted 5 years. I would have been like, okay, call the movers.
Okay, I was talking about our experience at the Gettysburg Military Park and ghost experience we had in an area there called Devil's Den. My wife and I were talking to 3 Confederate reenactors and joking around with them, and from my right came what appeared to be a Union officer in full officer dress. Big, dark, black beard. He came walking up to my right. I greeted him, and he looked at me with the most steely, dark eyes and a grimace on his face, looked at the reenactors I was talking to, looked back at me and just grunted, walked on by. I looked at the Confederate reenactors, and the one jokingly said, "Hey, I got to get my gun." I turned to my left and looked to see where this guy went, and he was gone, disappeared. And it was wide open. There's nowhere he could have gone. And we even went that way just to see if we could find him. That guy was gone.
Wait a minute. Was this a ghost, or was it a person, or?
I think it was a ghost.
I'm telling you, it looked like a real person, but it vanished. I mean, there was nowhere it could have gone. It's just one of the most amazing and of course, Gettysburg is one of the most haunted places probably in the world.
Yeah.
And we've had other experiences there too, but this was just absolutely incredible because we went the way he walked, knowing that we can't, he's nowhere because there's nowhere for him to hide.
So there were no trees, or it wasn't a long enough period of time where he could have just gone somewhere?
No, no, we're talking seconds. And poof, he was nowhere to be found.
What did the reenactors say about that? Did they see the same thing you did?
Yeah, they had to have, because they were sitting right there, and we all kind of looked at each other like, wow, that was weird.
I bet the reenactors occur that all the time. I bet they see that stuff all the time, and maybe it doesn't even faze them anymore.
Yeah.
I would imagine. And it was kind of funny. One of the reenactors said he was born in Fort Wayne. So.
Oh, wow.
Gosh.
How
so
about
we were
that?
just kind of chit-chatting back and forth. But yeah, that was really an incredible experience we had at Gettysburg.
Okay, so my dad's house in southern Indiana was an old stagecoach stop back in the 1800s. And when they decided to move in and buy the house, they were having a garage sale. And people were stopping by and asked them if they had heard that it was haunted. And this lady was like, I had put a bid in on it, but when I heard that it was haunted, I withdrew my bid. And there was an old horse outlaw that had hung himself in my dad's room.
Oh, man.
Back in the, yeah. And then there was an old lady that had died at some point, and she would slam my dad's door, and he had to take it off because she kept slamming it in the middle of the night.
Whoa!
And she would follow and she would follow people up and down the stairs. And I had a friend over one day, and I had already been downstairs for like 10 minutes. And she's like, I thought you were right behind me. And I'm like, I've been down here for like 10 minutes. And she looked at me. She's like, that is not cool. So the old lady had been following her up and down the stairs.
Was she a mean old lady or just mischief?
She just liked to do stuff to freak people out.
Yeah.
And I had my room upstairs, and there was a Civil War soldier, and I can describe you to a T how he looked like. And he would pace back and forth outside my bedroom door whenever I stayed.
Oh, that's so spooky.
I mean, and he was completely gray, and he had his bayonet and everything, and he would just, and his face, I mean, I can tell you exactly how his face looked like. He would just pace back and forth.
When you saw this soldier walking, I mean, did it look like a person, or was it like a mist?
It was a person. He was all gray, but he had a long beard and just a straight face, no look on his face. Like, he literally, like, he was almost guarding me, I guess.
Aww.
And he would just pace back and forth between my room,
Holy cow.
by my door all night long. And it never freaked me out, though. But everybody, my dad and my stepmom and I, and my cousins, we were all used to it. But anybody else that wasn't familiar with it would freak out when they heard the stories.
Jim, Carrie, and Angie in the morning. Classic Hits 101.7.